Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet. Before reciting Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Nararayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Śrīla Vyasadeva, the author of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati nashtaki. By regular attendance in the classes on Srimad Bhagvatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Namo Pankajanaභaya Namo Pankajamaline Namo Pankajanipraya Namaste Pankajangriye. Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas, thank you so much for joining today in this reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we read till text number 10 yesterday. These are the prayers of Lord of Sri Swambhu Manu, the first Manu, the first Manvantara, the father of mankind. And we discussed yesterday Ishavasyam or Atmavasyam. Atmavasyam idam Vishwam, that everything is a residence of the Supreme Lord. Vas. Yatkinchit Jagatyam Jagat. And he is the one who maintains the animate and the inanimate, living and the non-living. Tena Tyaktena Bhunjita. So one must accept what is one's quota. Makas ma grida kasya svidhanam. Do not encroach upon others' quota. So with that, we will move on to the next verse, which is text number 11. Yam pashyanti na pashyantam chakshuryasya na rishyati tam bhuta nilayam devam suparnam upadhavata. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly watches the activities of the world, no one sees Him. However, one should not think that because no one sees Him, He does not see, or His power to see is never diminished. Therefore, everyone should worship the Super Soul, who always stays with the individual soul as a friend. Purport: offering prayers to Kṛṣṇa, Srimati Kunti Devi, the mother of the Pandavas, said, Alakshayam sarva bhutanam antar bahir avasthitam. Kṛṣṇa, you reside both inside and outside of everything. Yet the unintelligent conditioned souls cannot see you. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that one can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead through Jnana Chakshusha, eyes of knowledge. He who opens those eyes of knowledge is called a spiritual master. Thus we offer our prayers to the spiritual master with the following shloka. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisance unto my spiritual master, who, with the torchlight of knowledge, has opened my eyes, which were blinded by the darkness of ignorance. Gautamiya Tantra. The Guru's task is to open the disciple's eyes of knowledge. When the disciple is awakened from ignorance to knowledge, he can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead everywhere, because the Lord actually is everywhere. Andantarastha paramanu chayantarastham. The Lord resides within this universe. He resides within the hearts of all living entities, and He resides even within the atom. Because we lack knowledge, we cannot see God, but a little deliberation can help us to see God everywhere. This requires training. With the with a little deliberation, even the most degraded person can perceive the presence of God. If we take into account whose property is the vast ocean, whose property is the vast land, how the sky exists, how the numberless millions of stars and planets are set in the sky, who has made this universe, and whose property it is, we should certainly come to the conclusion that there is a proprietor of everything. When we claim proprietorship over a certain piece of land, whether individually or for our families or nations, we should also consider how we became the proprietors. The land was there before our birth. Before we came to the land, how did it become our property? Such deliberation will help us understand that there is a supreme proprietor of everything, the supreme personality of Godhead. So, this verse, Sri Swambhu Manu is talking about Krishna, the super soul, the Paramatma, who is present where? Everywhere. Antar Bahir Avasthitaha. He is present inside, he is present outside also. He is present in each and every atom, and he is present in the universe. But how do we see him? Can you show me God? Why can't we see God? Many people ask this. If God is there, let him come in front of me. So we need few things. Even to see a significant person of this world, we need a certain qualification. For example, if I say, hey, I want to meet the president. If president is there, let him or her come in front of me, then only I'll believe. You'll call me crazy. Who are you to meet the president? You are just an ordinary fool in the city. He'll not see you. He'll see a significant. If some other country's president, calls him, then probably they will have a meeting. So basically, that other person has the qualification. So we have to become qualified, or we need the training. Prabhupada is mentioning. Prabhupada mentioned this word training multiple times. So what is that training? Eyes of knowledge. Jnana Chakshu, Bhakti Chakshu. Who gives that? Spiritual master. Who is the spiritual master? Bona fide representative of Krishna. So everything is so linked. If we develop that eyes, that Premanja Churita Bhakti Vilochanina, with the eyes anointed with love of God, with bhakti, with the spiritual knowledge, then Prabhupada is mentioning, one should deliberate that, well, this property I'm claiming as mine. Where did the land come from? Did I create the land? Maybe I paid some money to some person to get the property, but was it there before me also? Will it be eternally mine? Well, when I'm dead, when the body will be dead, who will be the owner of the property? Will I be the owner? No. Either the government will take it, the family will take it, or someone will take it. So who is the real owner? The real owner is Krishna. Sab Bhumi Gopal ki. At least we can say that. So the point is, Krishna is the real owner. He is the real master. And he is our real friend. So therefore, everyone must worship. That will come more in detail. So very long purport. So I'll pause here. So some other devotee can read the rest of the purport. I think Babu Kane and Prabhu wanted to read yesterday, and he started the quiz. So maybe you can read today. Want to read?
Can you share this screen?
Yes. Here.
The Supreme Godhead is always awake. In the conditioned stage, we forget things because we change our bodies. But because the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not change his body, He remembers past, present, and future. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 4.1, Imam vivasvate yogam proptam aham avyam. I spoke the science of God, Bhagavad Gita, the sun god at least 40 million years ago. When Arjuna inquired from Krishna how he could remember incident that had taken place so long ago, the Lord answered that Arjuna was also present at that time. Because Arjuna is Krishna's friend, wherever Krishna goes, Arjuna goes. But the difference in that Krishna remembers everything, whereas the living entity like Arjuna, being a minute particles of the Supreme Lord, forgets. Therefore, it is said the Lord's vigilance is never diminished. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 15.15. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivisto matta smriti jnanam apoham cha. The Supreme Personality of God head in his Paramatma features is always present within the heart of all living entities. And from him come memory, knowledge, and forgetfulness. This is also indicated in verse by word Suparnam, which means friend. In the Svetasvatara Upanishad, it is therefore said, Dva Suparna Sayujya Sakaya Samanam Vriksham Parisvajati. Two birds are sitting on the same tree as friends. One bird is eating the fruit of tree and other is simply observing. This observing bird is always present as a friend to the eating bird and giving him remembrance of things he wanted to do. Thus, if we take into account the Supreme Personality of Godhead in our daily affairs, we can see him or at least perceive he is present everywhere. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Should I continue, Prabhuji?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can complete.
I can continue. The word Chakshum Yasyana Risyati mean that although we cannot see him, this does not mean that he cannot see us. Nor does he die when the cosmic manifestation is annihilated. The example is given in this connection that the sunshine is present when the sun is present. But when sun is not present or when we cannot see the sun, this does not mean that sun is lost. The sun is there, but we cannot see it. Similarly, although we cannot see the Supreme Personality of Godhead in our present darkness, our lack of knowledge, he is always present, seeing our activities. As the Paramatma, he is a witness and advisor, Upadrasta and Anumata. Therefore, by following the instruction of spiritual master and studying authorized literatures, one can understand the God is present before us, seeing everything, although we have no eyes with which to see him. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji, so much for reading this section. The Supreme Lord is the best friend of everyone. Did you all get a chance to see a picture I shared today? I'll share it again for everyone's. So what's happening in this picture is this lady, they're both very old couple, 85 years old. She has Alzheimer. That means she does not remember her identity. So she doesn't know who is she and who is her husband. But the husband knows that she is my wife. So actually, one devotee gave a very nice, purport to it. That's actually Jiva. The caretaker of the Jiva, the Supernam, the well-wishers, the Suhridam, is always present. He's always accompanying the Atma. The Paramatma is always accompanying, but the doer bird, does not turn towards him. The doer bird is watching in some other direction because of lack of relationship, because he does not know what is my true relationship with this person. That's illusion. That's the Alzheimer of material world, which actually all of the, except for pure souls who know their true relationship, rest everyone is suffering from this disease. We think the false things of this world, we identify ourselves with those and try to enjoy those in as many ways. But we forget our true relationship with Krishna. But Krishna never leaves us. Even if we go in the species of an ant or a dog or heaven or hell, he'll always be there with us. Will any of our friend, well-wisher, husband, mother, father, children accompany us in the next life? No. At the best of the well-wishers can only accompany till the deathbed, not beyond that. So, but Krishna is always there. He is the best friend. Ami bina bandhuar kya che tumar. Who is the more better well-wisher than me? Lord Chaitanya is singing that bhajan. So that's Suparna, the best well-wisher. Now, how do we see that? How do we perceive Krishna's presence everywhere? Again, two things. Process of bhakti under the guidance of Guru Sadhu Shastra. With that, we will be able to identify that we are not this body, we are not this I, me, and mine. We are spirit, soul. We'll identify our relationship with Krishna, and that's basically Sambandha. So when the Sambandha Gyan is strong, then the Abhiday will be. So when the why is strong, the how gets easier. So when the Sambandha, therefore the Sambandha is the foundation. When Sambandha is strong, then why we have to do something is strengthened. So any other comments, any questions, additions in this text? Okay, who has not read so far this week?
Can I read, Prabhuji? I haven't read.
Yes, please.
Hare
Others
Krishna.
can also raise their hands. So after Mataji.
Okay, Srila Prabhupada. Text 12. Text 12. Na asyadi antau madhyam cha swaha paro nantaram bahi visvasaya muni yasmad visvam cha tadhritam mahat. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no beginning, no end, and no middle, nor does he belong to a particular person or nation. He has no inside or outside. The dualities found within this material world, such as beginning and end, mind and theirs, are all absent from the personality of the Supreme Lord. The universe, which emanates from him, is another feature of the Lord. Therefore, the Supreme Lord is the ultimate truth, and he is complete in greatness. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Kṛṣṇa is described in the Brahma Samhita 5.1. Isvara Paramaha Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradi Govindaha Sarvakarana Karanam. Krishna, known as Govinda, is the supreme controller. He has an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for he is the prime cause of all causes. For the Lord's existence, there is no cause, for he is the cause of everything. He is in everything. Maya tatam idam sarvam. He is expanded in everything, but he is not everything. He is Achinta Veda Veda, simultaneously one and different. That is explained in this verse. In the material world, we have a conception of beginning, end, and middle. But for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are no such things. The universal cosmic manifestation is also the Virat Rupa that was shown to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, since the Lord is present everywhere and all the time, He is the absolute truth and the greatest. He is complete in greatness. God is great, and how He is great is explained here. Hare Krishna. Back to you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, Shambhamanu is glorifying the different attributes and the qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Super Soul. So, few main qualities in this verse. Na yasya adi, jiska koi adi. Adi means beginning. There is no beginning. He is the beginning of everything. There is no beginning for him. Na anta, na madhyam. Madhyam means middle. Anta means end. So we have our body has beginning and end. The things of the material world have beginning and end. But the Supreme Lord, freedom from dualities, antar bahir. He has no conception of mine or theirs because everything is his. If everything is his, like we stamp it, oh, this is my property, don't dare to enter. What's that? What does it say? Trespassers executed or prosecuted. What does it say? Right? Don't dare enter my property. But if Krishna has to do that, then everyone will be prosecuted because everything belongs to him only. So everything belongs to him, but artificially we claim it as ours. So that's basically stealing, thieves. Because then inside, outside, everything is his. That does not mean that, oh, he loses his identity. He's always present in the spiritual world, doing his Nitya Leela, enjoying with his unlimited devotees in different rasas. That's the Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva. So, in a nutshell, he's everything. At the same time, he is present in the spiritual world. And an intelligent person can see this. How? Through deliberation. Where did this ocean come from? Where is the sun coming from? Who is putting the energy? How are the planets just moving around in the sky without any controller? That's very silly. Even a tiny satellite needs hundreds of intelligent people working behind it. Are the planets just moving around by themselves? No. So, any other comments, questions, additions? Okay, I think Raghu Prabhu wants to read. Yes, Prabhu, please. And for those who have not yet read, please raise your hand so you know.
Text 13. Sa Vishwakaya Puruhuta Isha Satya Swayam Jyotir Aja Purana Tatesya Gyanmadi Ajyatama Saktiya Tam Vidyatosya Netta Aste. Translation. Can you scroll up, please? Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The entire cosmic manifestation is the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, who has millions of names and unlimited potencies. He is self-effulgent, unborn, and changeless. He is the beginning of everything, but he has no beginning. Because he has created this cosmic manifestation by his external energy, the universe appears to be created, maintained, and annihilated by him. Nonetheless, he remains inactive in his spiritual energy and is untouched by the activities of the material energy. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in his Sikshataka Namam Nam Nama Nam 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 Akari Bahuda Nija Sarvasakti. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has many names, which are all non-different from the Supreme Person. This is spiritual existence. By chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, consisting of names of the Supreme Lord, we find that the name has all the potencies of the person. The Lord's activities are many, and according to his activities, he has many names. He appeared as the son of Mother Yashoda, and also as the son of Mother Devaki, and therefore he is named Devaki Nandana and Yashoda Nandana. Parasya Saktir Vividdeva Sruyate. The Lord has a multitude of energies, and therefore he acts in multifarious ways. Yet he has a particular name. The Shastras recommend which names we should chant, such as Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. It is not that we have to search for some name or manufacture one. Rather, we must follow the saintly persons in the Shastras in chanting his holy name. Although the material and spiritual energies both belong to the Lord, it is impossible to understand as long as we are in the material energy. And when we come to the spiritual energy, it is very easy to know. As stated in Srimad-Bhāgavatam 1.7.23, Mayam Vayudasya Chaktya Kaivalye Svita Atmani. Although the external energy belongs to the Lord, when one is in the external energy, Mama Maya Turatyaya is very difficult to understand. However, when one comes to the spiritual energy, one can understand it. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita 18.55, it is said, Bhaktyamam Abhijanati Yavan Jasmi Tatvaha. One who wants to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead in reality must take to the platform of bhakti or Krishna consciousness. This bhakti consists of various activities: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada, Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma, Nivedanam. And to understand the Lord, one must take to this path of devotional service. Even though the people of the world have forgotten God and may say that God is dead, this is not a fact. One can understand God, one takes to the Krishna consciousness movement, and thus one can be happy. So I think very briefly this purport, what I understand is that when we are totally in the material plane, we have very difficult time trying to realize the Supreme. But through bhakti and through Krishna consciousness, slowly we purify our consciousness and we try to get more and more attached to Krishna, and then we understand little by little. So it's a transformation from the material plane to the transcendental plane. Obviously, it's not easy, very difficult. Back to you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhu. One very important point here is coming, that we must not manufacture our own holy names. Very, very simple. Lord Chaitanya has given this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So if we simply chant this, our life will be perfect, we'll be happy. So we simply have to follow the footsteps of the Acharyas. And of course, Devkinandana, Isharanandana, all these multiple shlokas have these names, which are also good, but primarily for chanting or the Sankirtan, we mainly chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Any more comments or questions in this text anyone has? Nandini Mataji, wanted to read?
Prabhu Dandat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Text 14. अथाग्रे ऋषया कर्माणि हन्ते कर्म हेतवे इहमानो हि पुरुषा प्रायो निहां प्रपद्यते. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Therefore, to enable people to reach the stage of activities that are not tinged by fruitive results, great saints first engage people in fruitive activities. For unless one begins by performing activities as recommended in the Shastras, one cannot reach the stage of liberation or activities that produce no reactions. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 3.9, Lord Krishna advises, Yagyarthat karmanonyatra loko yam karma bandhana. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work binds one to this material world. Generally, everyone is attracted to hard labor for becoming happy in this material world. But although various activities are going on all over the world simply for the sake of happiness, unfortunately, only problems are being created from such fruitive activities. Therefore, it is advised that active persons engage in activities of Krishna consciousness, which are called yagya, because then they will gradually come to the platform of devotional service. Yagya means Lord Vishnu, the Yagya Purusha, the enjoyer of all sacrifices, Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is actually the enjoyer, and therefore we begin our activities for His satisfaction. We will gradually lose our taste for material activities. Sutta Goswami declared to the great assembly of sages at Naimisharanya, Atha Pumbir Dvija Shrestha Varnashrama Vibhagashaha Swanustasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. O best among the twice born, it is concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging his prescribed duties, dharma, according to caste divisions and order of life, is to please the Lord Hari. Bhagavatam 1.2.13. According to Vedic principles, everyone must act according to this classification as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha or Sannyasi. Everyone should progress towards perfection by acting in such a way that Krishna will be pleased. Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. One cannot please Krishna by sitting idly. One must act according to the directions of the spiritual master for the sake of pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then one will gradually come to the stage of pure devotional service. As confirmed in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 1.5.12, Naishkarmyam api achyutya bhava varjitam na shobhate jnanam alam niranjanam. Knowledge of self-realization, even though freed from all material affinity, does not look well if devoid of a conception of the infallible God. Gyanis recommend that one adopt Naishkarmya by not doing anything but simply meditating and thinking of Brahman. But this is impossible unless one realizes Parabrahman, Krishna. If there is no Krishna consciousness, any kind of activity, be it philanthropic, political, or social, simply causes karma bandhana, bondage to material work. As long as one is engaged in karma bandhana, one must accept different types of bodies that spoil the human form of facility. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, karma yoga is recommended. Arurokshor muneryogam karma karanam uchyate yogarudhasya tasyeva samaha karanam uchyate. So this is Bhagavad Gita 6.3. For one who is a neophyte in the yoga system, work is said to be the means. And for one who has already attained to yoga, cessation of all material activities is said to be the means. Nonetheless, karmendriyani samyaya ya aste manasa smaran indriyarthan vimudhatma mithyacharach sa uchyate. One who restrains the senses and organs of action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. Bhagavad Gita 3.6. One should act for Krishna very seriously in order to become fully Krishna conscious, and should not sit down to imitate such great personalities as Haridas Thakur. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur condemned such imitation. He said, Dushtamana, tumi kishera Vaishnava, pratisthara tare, niranjanera ghare, tava harinama, kevala kaitava. My dear mind, what kind of devotee are you? Simply for cheap adoration, you sit in a solitary place and pretend to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. But this is all cheating. Recently at Mayapur, an African devotee wanted to imitate Haridas Thakur, but after 15 days, he became restless and went away. Do not suddenly try to imitate Haridas Thakur. Engage yourself in Krishna conscious activities, and gradually you will come to the stage of liberation. Muktir hitvanyatha rupam sarupena vyavastitihi. Wow, that was a long purport. I'll just say two small things and then back to you, Prabhu. So here, Prabhupada is giving us a small guidelines for how to proceed and how to be successful. He's saying that first engage all the work for service of Vishnu, because everything is for the samsiddhir haritoshana. If work is not done for Vishnu, then it will cause bondage. And then he discusses about by discharging his prescribed duties according to caste division. So Varnashram Dharma, if we follow, then it is very easy to please Krishna. Otherwise, Prabhupada says that when one does not do it, it's like causing disturbance to the society. If one does not do any work, then idle mind is devil's workshop. And in the end, he says that also do this and chant Krishna's name, but not superfluously. Otherwise, it will also cause disturbance to the mind. So he's saying, understand your level and try to do your best and sincerely progress in Krishna consciousness. That's what I think, Prabhu. Back to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mataji. And we see that how Srila Prabhupada gave this formula practically. So, although the whole movement is based on the holy name, Nityam, Bhagvata, Sevaya, or Kirtaniya Sadahari, but how many of us can do that? Just chant Krishna's name and just read Bhagavatam 24/7, like Haridas Thakur. We can't do that. If we try to artificially imitate it, it will lead to fall down, as Prabhupada gave the example. So therefore, this Bhagavatam here, and in Bhagavad Gita also at so many places, the Karma Yoga is mentioned. So from Karma to Sakam Karma, and then Nishkam Karma, and then Akarma completely, and then complete Bhakti Yoga. So Karma to Akarma, in this, according to this verse, Iha to Aniha. So gradually moving forward, and therefore in our society we have such wonderful ways that one can dovetail one's propensities to serve Krishna. There is book distribution, there is deity worship, there is cow protection, there is temple services, volunteering, and cooking and cleaning and other accounts and management and deity worship, organizing festivals, organizing seminars, speaking about Krishna, music, arts and cultures. It's so diverse, chanting and Bhagavatam classes and festivals and offering lamps and deity worship. So there is no emptiness for festivals and I can go on and on. There is so much variety. And as we were discussing last time in Prabhupada's class, variety is the mother of enjoyment. So all this is there. so that we can dovetail our propensities nicely and continue to make spiritual progress, so that we don't become lazy by sitting idly, as Prabhupada is mentioning. One must work under the directions of the spiritual master for pleasing Krishna. That is the essence of work. And our work also should be dutiful, honest, and we also make that also spiritual. It's not recommended to artificially leave the work prematurely. Oh, that may not be a healthy sign. But at the right time and in the guidance of spiritual master, yes, one has to do the needful. So, but the work, if the focus is again Krishna, then that work is not binding, which we will read in the next verse. So the idea is one should not take immediately some drastic steps. Hey, chodo ghar bar, chalo Haridwar, that kind of situation. And Prince Prabhupada is, I think, mentioning here that one may artificially go to the forest. But what about the lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, illusion? One may give up one wife, but the 6 wives are accompanying him. So one has to steadily make progress, steadily keep on moving in the right direction, in the forward direction, and continue to intensify our sadhana while working on our responsibilities, the conditional duties as a mother, father, husband, wife, children, whatever our conditional duties are. At the same time, and that's Swayambhu Manu is not just speaking all this. He lived by all these. He was a king for millions of years. So we have to keep that in perspective. That he lived by all these. And king is it an easy job to be a king? Not at all. So many responsibilities, so many. King is basically, gets a sixth of the share of all the people of the kingdom. So big responsibility it is, because a leader is responsible for the subjects. But he lived by all these examples, and now, after he executed all his duties in this children, Priyavrat Maharaj was put at the throne, then he retired 100%. Any other comments, question?
So in the translation, it is said that great saints first engage people in productive activities to reach liberation, ultimately good. So, but as we know in Krishna consciousness that Prabhupada has for us, there is no productive activities. Whatever we do in a day-to-day life, even as a grandson or in our Krishna conscious activity, everything is spiritual, nothing fruitive. That's right, Rose, right?
Yeah, basically it's based on time, place, and situation. Great saints uplift, they are like spiritual doctors. They uplift the person based on their situation. The famous example is Narad Muni. How to Mrigari, he said, hey, why are you half killing them? Why don't you fully kill them? At that point, he was in no position to understand even fruitive activities. It is okay, kill, but fully kill. But the same great soul to Vyasadeva didn't tell that concept. So basically the medicine is given based on the symptoms of the diseased person. If someone is totally lazy and totally agnostic, totally atheistic person, will say, well, do something for your family. At least, your kids are hungry, or don't be so lazy, or do something. Do some worship either. So, and then at least one will develop some faith in something superior. Oh, I'm dependent on the demigods for rain. And enough. Eventually, one will come to the right understanding. But like a person is smoking 12 cigarettes a day, he is not in a position to understand that what is this this, Atma Paramatma, is okay, just smoke like 2 cigarettes a day. So the point is that it's a gradual process, and in most cases, exceptions are always there, but in most cases the journey is incremental. And in Kali Yuga, everything is very small. So life is small, time is small, everything is small. Therefore, Prabhupada gave just the topmost pure essence. So the principle is, till date, and of course, even Navratri is going on. And of course, it was a benediction also to Durga Devi that more people will worship you than me. Or Kṛṣṇa gave her the benediction. So that's what we see, which is fine. At least they are doing something better than nothing. That's so we can pray for them, that they worship her in a true perspective, understanding as Krishna's energy. And yeah, but we should not destroy their faith. That's important. Until our connection with them, that's a very important point. And Govardhan Puja is also coming in 1 month. So Krishna told the Rajavasis, Indra, they were worshipping Indra for many, many decades, generations. But Krishna had a strong relationship with them. They could do anything for Krishna. That's when Krishna told them, hey, don't do this. They were willing to give their life for Krishna. So until our relationship is not strong enough, we should not say don't do this. Otherwise, they may stop doing that, and they may not even take to bhakti. So we brought them at a lower position from where they currently were. It's an important point. In the beginning, we just tried to emphasize on the positive. The relationship will go stronger and strengthen. And when the time will come, Krishna will arrange the rest. Okay. Oh, it's almost time. Any other comments or questions anyone has? Okay. So we read till text 14. We will read the next verse tomorrow. There are next 3 verses also talk about the prayers of Swayambhu Mani. Okay, if there is no other comment, we will stop here. Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Mancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhupya Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.